If you sat down last Sunday and just studied English grammar for 3 hours straight.
Oh, wow. That is a lot.
Right. But science actually tells us that your brain probably threw away about 90% of that information by Tuesday.
Yeah, which is so frustrating.
It really is. Welcome to English Now Easy. We are incredibly happy you are here with us today for a conversation built, well, specifically for you, the language learner.
Exactly. And today we are talking all about the actual mechanics of motivation.
Yeah, because we want to figure out how to stay strong, keep going, and actually not burn out when the process of learning English just feels totally overwhelming.
Because, learning a language is literally one of the most difficult cognitive tasks an adult can even attempt.
Right, it is massive.
It is. So it is completely normal to feel exhausted by it. Today, we're not just going to sit here and tell you to work harder.
No, please no.
Right. We are going to look at what is actually happening inside your brain when you study, why you feel so tired, and how to use the mechanics of memory to make the whole journey just much smoother.
I love that. I want to start by addressing that feeling of exhaustion, actually, because, well, it's the number one reason people quit.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of learners start with this expectation that progress is just this, straight line. They think, if I practice for a month, I will feel noticeably smarter and faster every single day.
Which is just not how it works.
Exactly. And when they actually feel slower, or when a sentence they do perfectly yesterday suddenly feels confusing today.
Yeah, the frustration sets in.
They get incredibly frustrated. They think they're failing. Like, why do we beat ourselves up so much when we feel slow or tired?
Well, that frustration really comes from a deep misunderstanding of what is actually happening inside your head.
What do you mean?
So when you feel tired or confused while trying to speak English, that is not a sign of failure. It is a biological sign of growth.
Right, biological sign?
Yeah, your brain is a physical organ, right? And it uses about 20% of your body's energy.
Wow, 20%.
Yeah, and when you're speaking your native language, your brain is just running on autopilot. It takes almost zero effort.
Because you already know all the patterns.
Exactly. But when you process a completely new language, you are forcing your brain to manually build new physical connections.
So it's consuming massive amounts of energy.
Huge amounts. You are literally building new architecture in your head.
So it's literal fatigue then. It's not just a lack of focus or being lazy.
No, not at all.
I like to think about it kind of like building a path through a very dense, dark forest.
Oh, I like that.
Right, like the first time you try to walk through that forest, you have to cut down branches, you have to move heavy rocks, clear the dirt.
It's exhausting, sweaty work.
Exactly. You might only move a few feet.
That is such a perfect way to visualize it. You are cutting a new neural pathway. And just like clearing a forest, your brain physically needs time to recover after doing that heavy lifting.
Which means rest is important.
It is essential. During rest, and especially during sleep, your brain is actually cementing those new pathways.
Oh, wow. So the learning happens when you sleep.
Basically, yeah. So when you're studying and you suddenly hit a wall where you just cannot remember a single word, you should not beat yourself up.
Because your brain is just full.
Right. You need to recognize that your cognitive load has reached its maximum limit. Resting is actually an active part of the learning process.
That actually changes how I view motivation completely.
How so?
Well, we usually treat motivation like an emotional state.
Yeah.
Like we think we have to wake up feeling this magical surge of excitement just to open a textbook.
Oh, yeah. The sudden urge to study.
Right. But if learning is this heavy, energy-draining physical task, then waiting for a magical feeling of excitement is just a terrible strategy.
It is a guaranteed way to fail, honestly. Motivation is not a permanent emotion. It comes and goes.
Right.
What you actually need is a system that works on the days when you have zero motivation.
Okay, so a system.
Yeah. Which brings us to a piece of advice that is very common, but, well, often completely misunderstood. People always hear, just study for 5 minutes a day.
Okay, wait. I need to challenge that advice right now.
Go for it.
Because when I hear study for 5 minutes, my immediate thought is, I am a smart, capable adult. 5 minutes is nothing.
Sounds too easy.
Yeah. How can reading one single paragraph or, I don't know, listening to English for 5 minutes possibly help me become fluent? It feels like a waste of time.
Compared to sitting down and studying hard for 3 hours on the weekend.
Exactly. Is that actually doing anything?
I completely understand the skepticism. It sounds way too small to matter. But this is where we really have to look at how human memory actually functions.
Okay, lay it on me.
There is this psychological concept called the forgetting curve. Imagine your memory is a bucket with a hole in the bottom.
A bucket with a hole. Got it.
When you study for 3 hours on Sunday, you fill the bucket all the way to the top. But because of that hole, the information immediately starts draining out. By Wednesday, the bucket is almost empty again.
Because the brain is basically designed to delete information that it doesn't think is necessary for survival, right?
Precisely. If you only interact with English once a week, your brain just assumes it's not important, so it deletes it to save energy.
That makes so much sense.
Right. But when you do just 5 minutes of English every single day, you are constantly sending a signal to your brain.
You're telling it this matters.
Exactly. You're telling it, I encounter this information every 24 hours. We cannot delete this. We need to keep it.
Wow.
Those 5 minutes act as a biological trigger to stop the forgetting process. It's called spaced repetition.
So it is not about the volume of time, it's about the frequency of the signal.
Yes, exactly.
5 minutes isn't meant to teach you a massive amount of new grammar. It's meant to keep the engine running and tell the brain to lock the information in place.
Yes. Consistency physically alters the brain faster than intensity.
But to build that consistency, I mean, that's the hard part, right?
It is. And to do it, you have to understand the psychology of friction.
Friction, like making things difficult.
Right. Friction is basically anything that stands between you and starting a task. If you want to do your 5 minutes of English, but your textbook is zipped inside your heavy backpack in another room,
That is friction.
that is major friction.
And when your brain is already tired after a long day at work, even the thought of unzipping a backpack feels like too much effort.
Yeah, it's called decision fatigue.
Right. Your brain will always look for the easiest possible option. I mean, if watching television is one click of a button and studying English requires finding a book, finding a pen, and sitting at a desk.
Television will win every single time,
Every single time.
which is exactly why you must design your environment to remove the friction. You have to make English the easiest choice in the room.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, leave your English book open on your desk with a pen already sitting right on top of it.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. Or change the default language on your phone to English. Save a shortcut to a short, fun English video right on your home screen.
Make it so easy to start that it actually requires more effort to avoid it.
Exactly. You essentially trick your tired brain into starting.
And, once you start reading that open book, the 5 minutes usually turns into 10 or 15 minutes automatically.
Because the hardest part was simply crossing the starting line.
Yeah, exactly. But let's look at the emotional side of this slow, steady approach for a second.
Okay.
If I'm only taking these small 5-minute steps every day, my progress is going to be incredibly slow.
True.
And the danger there is that progress that's slow is almost invisible to the person experiencing it. Like, how can the listener actually know if these tiny steps are working?
Yeah, it's what we call the illusion of standing still. And it destroys so many language learners.
I can imagine.
They study every day for 3 months, and then they say, I still can't understand movies. I am not getting anywhere.
Right. Because we expect progress to be this loud, obvious event.
We really do.
We want a sudden moment where the sky opens up and we are suddenly fluent. We want to see the numbers go up on a big test score.
But language acquisition happens in a period of latent potential.
Oh, in potential.
Yeah, think about a tree growing in a forest.
Okay.
If you stare at a tree for 24 hours, you will swear it is not moving.
Right. It looks exactly the same today as it did yesterday.
But if you look at a photograph of that tree from a year ago, the change is undeniable.
Oh, wow. That's a great way to put it.
Your English progress is exactly like that tree. The changes are happening on a microscopic level in your brain every single day, but you cannot feel them in real time.
So how do we prove to ourselves that we are actually growing? Because if I can't feel the progress, I am going to lose my motivation entirely.
You have to capture the quiet moments.
Capture them. How?
Well, real progress is the sudden, brief realization that you just watched a short internet video and, hey, you understood the joke without reading the subtitles.
Oh, I love that feeling.
Right. Or the moment you read a sentence and you realize you did not translate it into your native language first. You just saw the English words and understood the concept directly.
Those are amazing moments, but they vanish so quickly. If we don't document them, our brains just forget they ever happened.
That is why you need concrete systems to track the invisible.
Right. And I love this simple, practical idea of recording your own voice.
Yes. creating an audio time capsule.
You do not need a professional setup. You just use the voice memo app on your phone.
Just open it up.
Yeah, you record yourself speaking for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Just describe your day or explain why you are learning English.
Something basic.
Right, like, hello, my name is Sarah. I live in Turkey. I'm learning English because I want to study abroad. You save it, and then you do not listen to it.
You just let it sit there.
Exactly. And then a month later, you do the exact same thing.
Yes. And then you listen to them back to back. When you look backward, the invisible suddenly becomes visible.
It's undeniably right there.
It really is. You will hear that your pronunciation in the second recording is sharper. You will notice that you paused a lot less often. You will hear more confidence in your tone.
That is such a powerful strategy because you are competing against your own history, not against some native speaker.
Exactly. Be kind to yourself.
And I also think keeping a tiny, low-pressure log is brilliant.
Oh, the notebook method.
Yeah, just a tiny notebook beside your bed. Before you sleep, write down one single new word you encountered that day or one phrase that finally made sense.
And you know, the value of that notebook isn't even in writing the word down. The real value is in opening the notebook 3 months later.
Right.
You look at the very first page, you see a word that confused you back then, and you realize it is completely obvious to you now.
That's amazing.
Looking backward is the only reliable way to measure your growth.
Let's talk about the negative side of looking backward, though, because when you listen to your old recordings, or even when you speak in the present moment, you are going to hear your mistakes.
Oh, yes, the mistakes.
And this is where we really need to have a very honest conversation about the adult ego.
It is tough.
For adults learning a language, making a mistake is not just an error. It feels deeply humiliating, like terrifying.
It is a severe psychological barrier. I mean, adults are used to feeling competent.
Right.
You have a job, you handle complex problems, you are intelligent, and then you open your mouth to speak English and you use the wrong tense or you can't remember a basic vocabulary word.
You suddenly feel like a child.
It is so embarrassing.
It's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
A literal physical flush of heat hits your face when you realize you said the wrong word in front of someone.
Yes.
And our instinct is to protect our ego by shutting down. We think, well, if I don't speak, I won't make a mistake and I won't look foolish.
But staying quiet completely halts the learning process.
Completely. And, you know, I think about this analogy a lot. When a baby is learning to walk and they fall down,
Right.
nobody tells them to stop trying. We don't say, oh, you look foolish.
Of course not.
We smile and say, try again. So why do adults become so paralyzed by the fear of using the wrong word or messing up their grammar?
Because we forget that mistakes are literally how you grow. It prevents a mechanical process called prediction error.
Prediction error.
Yeah. Your brain is essentially a guessing machine. When you try to speak a new language, your brain guesses the correct grammar pattern or the right word.
Okay, it takes a guess.
If you speak and the listener looks confused or, corrects you, your brain experiences a prediction error. It realizes its guess was wrong.
And that's a good thing.
It's a great thing. That moment of being wrong creates a sharp signal in the brain that says, update the model, change the pattern.
So without the mistake, the brain never receives the signal to update its internal software.
Exactly. If you just sit silently and listen, your brain never makes a guess, so it never experiences the error, so it never adjusts.
Mistakes are not a sign of failure. They're the primary data points your brain uses to calibrate itself.
Think about an archer shooting an arrow at a target. The first arrow hits too far to the left. That is a mistake. But that mistake gives the archer the exact data they need to adjust their aim to the right for the next shot. Right. If they refuse to shoot the first arrow because they are afraid of missing, they will never hit the center.
That reframes it perfectly. It's just calibration.
Yeah.
But how do we lower that feeling of panic? Because even if I logically know that a mistake is just a data point, I still feel a massive wave of anxiety when I talk to a native speaker.
We have to lower what linguists call the affective filter.
The affective filter.
Yes. When you feel anxious, stressed, or embarrassed, your brain literally releases cortisol.
The stress hormone.
Right. And cortisol acts like a physical wall in your brain. It blocks your ability to access memories and process new information.
Oh, wow.
This is why you can know a word perfectly well in your bedroom, but the moment you are in a stressful conversation, your mind goes completely blank.
The wall is up.
The wall is up.
The anxiety literally locks the door to the vocabulary. So the solution isn't to try harder to remember the word. The solution is to remove the anxiety so the wall comes down.
Yes, and the fastest way to lower cortisol is to introduce dopamine through play and curiosity.
Through play, like making it fun.
Exactly. We treat language learning as this serious, heavy academic burden. We read boring news articles we don't care about, or we study dry grammar tables.
Which is miserable.
It is. You need to make it fun. Read a comic book in English. Watch a reality television show that makes you laugh. Listen to your favorite music and try to sing along.
Because when you are laughing or when you are genuinely interested in the story you're reading, your brain lowers the defenses.
Yes.
You stop worrying about your ego, the wall comes down, and the information just flows in naturally.
Joy is a biological learning enhancer.
I love that phrase.
It's true. If you try to speak to someone and you use the totally wrong word, just try to laugh at the absurdity of it. Native speakers make mistakes constantly.
We really do.
We lose our train of thought. We use the wrong verb tense. We stumble over our pronunciation. No one is judging your grammar as harshly as you are judging yourself.
We are definitely our own worst critics.
Absolutely.
But, if we can let go of the ego, embrace the mistakes as data, and use consistency to beat the forgetting curve,
Yeah,
we really start moving steadily up that path.
we do.
And that brings us to the ultimate question. If we embrace our mistakes and keep having fun on the climb, what is the ultimate reward? Like, why go through all of this effort?
It's a great question.
Why push through the fatigue and the mistakes? I think it comes down to understanding the massive global scale of what you are actually achieving.
The scale of the English language is unlike anything else in human history.
It really blows me away.
We are talking about more than 1.5 billion speakers worldwide.
1.5 billion.
Yes. When you are sitting in your room, struggling to memorize a list of verbs, it is so easy to forget what those verbs represent. They are not just words on a page.
No, they are basically an operating system for the globe. English isn't just a school subject. It is a key.
A global key.
Exactly. It has evolved beyond just being the language of a few specific countries. It is the bridge.
It really is.
If a business person from Japan needs to negotiate with a manufacturer in Brazil, they're almost certainly going to use English.
Right.
If a student from Ukraine wants to read the latest scientific research published in Germany, they're going to read it in English. It connects people in Vietnam, Iran, Spain, Iraq, South Korea, Indonesia, all opposite sides of the planet.
It creates a massive network effect. Every new person who learns English makes the language more valuable for everyone else.
Wow.
By learning this language, you are not just acquiring a skill for your resume. You are giving yourself the ultimate tool for mobility and freedom.
You are stepping off the sidelines.
Yes.
You no longer have to rely on translators or, hope that someone has provided subtitles in your native language. You get direct access to the global conversation.
It makes dreams easier.
Exactly. It means you can travel to Thailand or Japan or Brazil, and even if you don't speak the local language, you have this universal key in your pocket that can help you navigate, make friends, and solve problems.
It is about independence. It makes the world feel significantly smaller and much more welcoming.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You realize that human beings across the planet share the same jokes, the same fears, and the same hopes. And you get to participate in that exchange. When you speak this language, you are connecting yourself to a massive global community. You are never truly alone in the world.
That is an incredible thought. You are
Yeah.
never truly alone. The effort of those 5 minutes a day, the frustration of making mistakes, it is all a small price to pay for a key that unlocks the entire world.
It really is.
As we close our conversation today, we want to look right at you, the listener.
We are so proud of you.
We really are. We know this journey is difficult. We know it requires an immense amount of cognitive energy and emotional courage.
But you are showing up. You are doing the heavy lifting. You are altering your brain, building new pathways, and expanding your potential.
Simply showing up to try, even if you speak slowly or feel nervous, is a massive victory.
That is a huge victory, regardless of how fast or slow you feel you are moving. Be kind to yourself and trust the process of slow, consistent growth.
Every mistake is a calibration. Every 5-minute session is a signal to your brain to keep growing. You are doing something remarkable.
Keep going.
Before we sign off, we want to leave you with one final thought to mull over as you go about the rest of your day.
Okay.
We talked about how this language connects you to 1.5 billion people across the planet. So ask yourself this. When you finally feel confident enough to step into that global community and just say hello, whose story are you most excited to hear first?